It's our right. This is why we're building Prosper XO, created for artists by artists. And we're not just building technology, we're building a movement, a system rooted in transparency, protection, and sustainability for artists everywhere. Build with us at prosperxo.com.
Is this what? Oh, thanks. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here. We're going to get started with the panel. My name is Lauren Bruno. This is Devin and Courtney. We're a part of Prosper XO. I am the CEO of Prosper XO. For those of you who are new to Prosper XO, we are an artist-first ethical technology company and an education and cultural policy initiative focused on building a more sustainable future for artists and creative communities. We believe artists deserve greater ownership, creative autonomy, direct connection, sustainability, control over their careers and creative work, and the value they create. At Prosper XO, we often say, when artists prosper, culture thrives. Because behind every song we love, every show we attend, every festival, every studio session, and every creative experience, there's an entire community of people making it possible. And it begins with the artist. Tonight's town hall, From Studio to Stage, What It Takes to Build a Sustainable Music Community, is about exploring that ecosystem. Healthy music communities don't happen by accident. They require spaces where artists can create, collaborate, learn, perform, connect, and support one another. They require recording studios that help bring ideas to life, festivals and events that introduce artists to new audiences, promoters, educators, organizers, and community builders who create opportunities and open doors. And perhaps most importantly, they require people willing to show up for one another. So thank you so much for showing up here tonight. In a world where so much of our lives happens online, gathering together in person has become more important than ever. Real relationships, real conversations, and real community are often what sustain artists long before success ever does. And that's why I'm especially excited about tonight's panel. Our guests represent so many of the pieces that make a thriving creative ecosystem. I also want to acknowledge the artists in the room. Who's an artist here tonight? Raise your hand. Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, all of us can raise our hand. We're all artists in our own way, right? We know how much goes into creating, the writing, the recording, practicing, promoting, networking, and constantly showing up for your craft. So much of that work happens behind the scenes and goes unseen. So thank you for continuing to create even when it's difficult. Thank you for sharing your stories, perspectives, and humanity through your work. Austin's culture exists because artists are willing to take the risk of creating something and sharing it with the world. We hope these town halls continue to offer opportunities to learn, connect, and collaborate, and build meaningful relationships. And we hope to introduce all of the artists to new ideas, new perspectives, and new opportunities. And most importantly, we hope they serve as a reminder that none of us are building this creative community alone. So tonight, we're joined by Dustin and Evan Bozarth, co-founders of Purple Bee Studio and artists themselves, who have created a space where creativity, collaboration, and music can flourish. We're also joined by Derek Moorhead, a producer, artist, and promoter who understands what it takes to support artists both on and off the stage. And later this evening, we'll also be joined by Kelsey Pinkston, founder of Babe ATX, DJ hipster, educator, and community builder, whose work has helped create opportunities, connections, and support systems for countless creatives and women throughout Austin. Together, they represent the spaces, people, and organizations that help transform an idea into a performance for the community. So thank you all for being here tonight and for everything you all do to support Austin's creative culture. And with that, please welcome our first panelists, Dustin, Evan, and Derek. Should be on. You have to turn your mic
Hey.
Just a minute. Hello.
Test.
The mic works.
Do some Ben Buck.
Yes.
You're gonna do Ben Buck. You are wearing represent speaker
I
bump.
am repping Ben Buck. You're right.
Man, I am so excited to have all three of you on this stage. You have impacted this community in huge ways for such a long, long time, and I just want to say how honored I am that y'all are here. I really just wanted to start off with going through all of you talking about how your journey with creativity started, and what inspired you to get into the creative process.
I'll go. I'm Evan, and this is my twin brother, Dustin. We come from a pretty creative family. Our mom is a songwriter and an author, and our older brother is a electronic musician and a violin player. And there's professional musicians and other types of creatives all over our family. So we kind of grew up in that world, and we also grew up as sort of instant collaborators in everything that we've done, whether it's playing sports or video games or making a business or building a band. We always seem to sort of complement each other on our skill sets. I'm more of the visual artist, and Dustin's more of the tech nerd coder type. So we kind of tend to complement each other. He's a keyboard player, I'm a bass player. So we're usually necessary pieces of other people's bands or our own bands. So we kind of just grew up with that mindset of always doing creative things and always doing it together. And over the years, we've kind of taken that mindset and pulled other people into our vortex. And one of the guys who's not here, who's the third founder of Purple Bee, his name is Grego. He's kind of he's a shout out Grego. He's kind of the third leg in Purple Bee, and he's a sound engineer, guru, and all around weirdo. So he's kind of part of our vortex and part of our weird, world that we've created, and that it also includes donks and vinyls and weird events. And we just always kind of thought that basically the way Purple Bee came about was that we were doing things for other people. We had our own companies. We worked for other people. We had different worlds where we were musicians over here, and we're designers and marketing people over here, and we're doing video over here. And at one point we were basically like, how do we put all this stuff into one bucket and call it our own thing and give it to the world as our own project? And sort of Purple Bee became that container for us to do things like that. And it kind of happened at a time when, is this answering your question?
Yeah, no, totally.
Okay.
I wanted to dig deeper into like how you guys really entered the creative sphere.
Yeah, Purple Bee became a thing. It started as just a loose collective of artists and production people putting on parties and campouts, and Grego had a studio, so we would make our records with our band over there. And all along, me and Dustin were picking up video gigs, doing concert video, and we had a company called Airship that did marketing and design work for a lot of festivals and record labels and bands. And then we had our own music. We played in Heartburn, which is a Talking Heads tribute, and we had several original bands throughout the years. And we played in other people's bands. All that sort of kind of coalesced about 10 years ago when we decided, this is going to be, Purple Bee could be a thing where we put all our eggs in a basket. And we did that. We rigged up Grego's studio with a bunch of video stuff, and we turned on the live stream. The first gig we did was D Madness, which was super cool.
Do we all know D Madness in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a blind drummer.
Yeah.
And one of the most talented. I feel like iconic.
He'll play bass and drums and sing at the same time.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also do an ADSR or
so
ASR.
That was your first.
That was the first. We call it. Well, Purple Bee Live is sort of the program that we created. That was our little original series web concert show, and they were episode number 1. So right after that, the pandemic happened, and we're like, oh no, but oh yeah, everyone needs a place to play. And we just built this spaceship specifically for that purpose. And so everyone started coming over to our studio and making live streams for their fans. Everyone who was stuck at home, they were used to spending $100 at Antone's on a Thursday or Friday night. Now they had $100 to spend on supporting music on Purple Bee and throwing a tip at the artists. And so we started coming up with more creative ways for them to spend their money online and what would happen when they donated $50. So we wanted it to be more interactive and for people to be able to change the course of the show, something that doesn't necessarily happen in a live music venue. You just sort of, you're there with the artist and you have that palpable energy of being there, but you don't necessarily get the luxury of changing the course of the set list or something like that. So, but online on a streaming thing, we're like, why not? Why don't we make it where people feel like they're on their couch, but they feel connected to the thing and they can actually make something happen. They can talk to the artist, they can ask a question, they can spin a wheel of jam and something lands on and the band now has to do this thing, or they could win a prize, stuff like that. That's sort of, it was our way of saying, we want to capture the power of live music and we want to translate it as faithfully as we can, but we also know that it's a different thing. And with that difference comes some things that maybe you couldn't do in a live environment. It could be better in some ways. Yeah. So we've been exploring that idea for 6 or 7 years now. And just in the last couple of years, we started to say, well, what if we create an artifact from these live experiences and made that part of the thing. So, and this is where Derek comes in, because we made a record with Derek's band. I don't know if it's in here.
How long y'all been doing the live to vinyl now? It's like maybe 6 months?
About 3 years.
3 years, okay.
This is the point. This is one of the second or third ones we made. But so we started saying, okay, well now we want the band to play live on the internet, and we want to roll on a vinyl lathe, and we want to make a vinyl record live in one take as the band plays. And then we want to auction off that one of one that we made that night to a lucky fan, and then we want to put a NFC chip on the vinyl so that people can point their phone at it and it goes to the online bonus material and other types of things in the future that might be fun to do. So it remains an interactive thing, and it's basically a physical and a digital thing at the same time. And it's an artifact, and it's rare, and it's handmade, and it's something that sort of it bridges the analog and the digital. And we love that. So it's human made. And it's also forward-leaning.
Like a fun element to the show, and there's pressure. You gotta, you're putting it on a record. It's not going on into a DAW and then onto a record. It's going straight onto the record. So and that like pressure, y'all kind of like pump that up a little bit too, and talk about it. It's cool. Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that don't know Purple Bee Studios, can we tell them what Purple Bee Studios is and what you specifically, I know you're going into the specifics, but what are you guys doing consistently now? You are talking about the live vinyl press that they do at shows, which is an incredible thing. But what are you guys doing consistently since we got into that?
We call it sort of a hybrid. It's a music venue, so people can come and be there in person and as they would a concert, but it's also a professional recording studio and soundstage, so we're wired for video and sound, and there's acoustic paneling, and there's all the things you would have in a recording studio, but the space is big enough to hold more people, and so it gives us the flexibility to have a concert, to give a look for a band that wants to collaborate with us on the sort of theme and the vibe of the thing. And it's sort of a playground. We call it a creative oasis, a creative playground, and really the thread that we've had other spaces over the years that this has sort of evolved into. And really the idea all along was just to have this creative space that felt welcoming. It felt like a safe place for artists to kind of let their hair down, and the vibes were always good and friendly, and then just have a sort of a place to share that with people, however small. It holds about 200 people. We probably had 250 at the biggest show. Usually it's under 100, so it's an intimate venue, and it's sort of state of the art in the way that we can sort of spin up a live stream and make a record and do all these things at once.
Amazing. So I'm hearing you're inspired by collaboration, by community, by interactive participation. That's amazing. We'll come back to you guys. I want to hear from Derek. What inspired you? What got you into being an artist, Derek? And tell us more about you.
I've been an artist since I was young, obviously. I started to get into electronic music in my teens, started smoking weed, and I was like, this electronic music sounds awesome. And I love hip-hop, too. So I did a lot of beats and stuff when I was young, and then I ended up moving down to Texas and went into the tech world and continued to do music, but this was early 2000s, so the tech industry was blowing up, and we were making a ton of money. So that became one of the focuses for about 10 years, and I was still creating like hip-hop beats just for fun, or selling them, sending them to people. And then I got to the point where I had a pretty good tech career, and I wanted to go into music more professionally, and then I built Dub Eckies, which is kind of like a collaboration of just different people that I've produced over the years. And we've got 2 girls that front the stage that are viola and saxophone players, and the sax player plays didgeridoo too. And then we've got like a huge group of badass rappers. Mr. Moses and Ben Buck are like 2 of our main guys, but we've also worked with a lot of people. We bring a lot of people on stage that are hip hop around town. So the show's kind of like a mixture between bass music and drum and bass, and the hip hop elements are kind of mixed into that. And we have guys that can kind of rap on any type of beat. So. It's kind of, we started the DE project right before COVID, and then COVID happened, which was good for y'all, but it sucked for us. So we took like almost 2.5, maybe 3 years off, but that's what the project changed during that time. That's when I started working with Moses and Ben. Originally used to work with Blacklight. I don't know if y'all remember that, but so it did kind of like shift a little bit more hip hop during COVID, because we were just, working in the studio a lot. Now that we're doing a lot of live shows again, we're kind of shifting it back towards EDM a little bit too, make it more dancey. But it's always like kind of a fusion of all those things.
Awesome. Well, so you guys have all been in the Austin community kind of at the ground level for a while. I wanted to talk more about that. Like, what has been y'all's experience with the Austin community? What have you seen that's working? What do you think we should be improving? And I know we're all, everyone probably in this room is working towards like more sustainability and more connection and collaboration, but what has been your experience with the Austin community and the creative community?
I can start with this one. I would say, like, compared to some of the other places in Texas, Austin is a very friendly music industry. Music industry is competitive in general, but not like you go over to Houston, people, it's a whole there's like warfare between people, like at least here in Austin, everybody's, kind of like either friends or supporting each other in some way or fashion. It's like always going to be competitive, but I love that about it. It's like everybody's trying to help each other come up, and I think you need that if you're going to be an indie artist, and a lot of Austin is indie artists, and it's getting harder and harder to come through online as an indie artist. So you kind of have to build a community around it and kind of like, get as many people involved as you can that are talented.
Yeah, and you're a promoter. You've done a great job at that. And you're promoting everybody all the time. I think that's really powerful and important to remember that we're all here to support one another.
Yeah. I've been doing that since the beginning. Yeah. It comes back to me too, though. You know what I mean? You help people out, they help you out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So yeah, and I truly do believe there is a ton of really dope music in Austin that just does not get the attention that it deserves, and like dope people doing cool shit too, like y'all. So yeah.
I mean, I've had the luxury of being kind of the main talent buyer, if you will, at Purple Bee, and just the amount of talent in this town, it is kind of staggering. If you stop paying attention for a few months and then you come back to it, you realize there's a whole new crop of talented people that just showed up out of nowhere and they're taking over the scene. And so that happens. It tends to happen on this cyclical basis. Every 2 or 3 years, there's just new crops of talented young people and people who were in this band and now they've started a new thing. And the sort of cross-pollination that comes from people being in each other's bands, which is a big thing here in Austin, is someone having a project and then having a band full of side people that is relatively interchangeable because everyone needs to go and get multiple gigs. They have 2 or 3 deep of bass players in every band, and that whole thing kind of means that there's always new stuff happening and there's always someone trying to elevate their project at any given time, and a lot of people supporting that. And we worked a lot with the Sonic Guild people in the last few years, so to see all the people that come through their scene is another way to kind of be exposed to all the incredible talent. It's kind of, it's like a lot of things, it's they have their slightly myopic view of what is talent to them, and then there's this whole scene of people that are outside of their purview that are also just as talented. So it's good to kind of check out different scenes and different clubs and different parts of town and see what's going on, and try to now the thing that I'm hearing about that I haven't seen is the young kids having tunnel raves and playing in gas stations and shit like that.
Is Donovan here? We were just talking about that.
It's popping.
Yeah.
People are showing up to those things.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's actually the way raves were. It's kind of that's coming back. When I was younger and we were late 90s doing raves and DJs stuff. We would I remember we found an abandoned paintball place that was condemned, and we did raves there for 6 months. So it's that's how it was back then. Now they're kind of bringing that back, Yeah.
I think if the pandemic sort of drove anything home, it was the concept of an alternative venue outside of a bar. And I think people came away from that era with a little more openness to going to see music in weird places and outdoors and all the other places, and that has been really fun to sort of dig back into and have options that people are a little more open-minded about doing a show at a weird place, and especially at our studio. As well, just having an alternative space that it's not about going out. It's not a bar thing. It's not it just has a different set of rules you can play by, and you can also play with the expectations of what people expected a normal venue to be like. You can subvert that in fun ways, and so I think it's part of the evolution that we're in right now. Is the post-COVID world it looks a lot different, and there's new ways to sort of do things that you may not have done before.
Yeah. Do you guys think more are going to pop up? Because with the introduction of AI, I feel like more and more authentic, direct connection experiences are just going to be going wild. Do you guys think?
I mean, we're banking on that.
Yeah.
It's funny to see, we keep our finger on the pulse of all this stuff, and we try to stay up to what's happening and utilize it where we can, but we've also had to think really hard about where's the line at, and what is the right way to use AI for us, and where do we say we're not going to go over there with it? Like, so for us, it's all of the operations and all of the technology stack that helps us put things together. We could leverage the shit out of AI, but when it comes to creative output and things that are art, we think that we would rather have that be human made, and we'd rather have a human voice to give that meaning. And we don't need the AI to muddy that up right now. And other people can mess with that, but we're going to try to lean into the human part of that for now. And I think that there's going to be more and more people that are seeking that specific idea. And the thing about live music that makes it so incredible, and it's so magical, and the reason why we exist, our whole mission is to capture and make monuments and artifacts from that live magic moment, and that's a human thing. That's a very human thing, and it's about connection and community.
Yeah, because this is a live recording. Like, this vinyl is the actual performance. You were able to do that, right, Derek?
Oh yeah, that was a blast. Yeah. It's a super unique thing that they do.
Yeah.
Real quick on what you're saying too, I 100% agree. I think the younger generation, especially the young generation right now, is kind of rejecting technology a little bit more and more. I think we're going to see people that are embracing non-AI things. I think some of the younger generation are trying to do shows where you can't have your phone, stuff like that. So yeah, that's coming. That's coming with their generation.
Yeah. So what obstacles have you guys faced in the industry as artists from your journeys?
I think just being in bands since the early 2000s, like it used to be that like getting an article in the Chronicle or something like that was what would sort of like put you over the top in Austin, and that was something that we never happened to our band for one reason or another, and we felt kind of like a chip on our shoulder for various reasons of not breaking into certain mainstream avenues of like promoting your band. But obviously that's evolved, and it's a meritocracy more or less now with if you can figure out the algorithms of social media and the attention and all that stuff, you can do it yourself, and you can make it's fragmented, obviously. So I think the challenge now is that we've lost the ability to sell our music in the traditional ways. The Spotify's have sort of gone up and sort of become a way to not make any money, and artists are finally realizing it's sort of not worth the effort to kind of go through that whole song and dance and put a lot of effort into releasing things in that traditional way. So, but in the meantime, we don't have a viable alternative, and so we're sort of like, I think that's where Prosper XO and people like us come in. Is like we're still trying to imagine and build what's next, but it's not here, and we're sort of in this gray area where we're stuck in no man's land with that. And so it's a good thing in ways that when there's no alternative, we come up with new ideas, and we wipe the slate clean, and we can come up with something crazy and amazing, and who knows what we will come up with. But it's definitely like right now in this very moment in time, we're sort of stuck in turmoil of how do you release something, how do you make money off your music, how do you make a living. All those those income streams are sort of dried up or changing, or sort of hit a roadblock until the next thing comes along.
There's also the scale of to think about what it means to be a local artist and to play at C-Boys or Antones or any club and do well. That's a pursuit, and that has a different set of rules and objectives than an artist that wants to blow up on TikTok or have 1 million Spotify streams or get a record deal. All those are completely different objectives. They're really kind of like, there's never felt like there's more difference between all of those things, and there's plenty of artists in this town that are perfectly happy and perfectly successful being a musician who plays at at the gallery on Tuesday nights, and this is my gig, and I do pretty well at it. And they're serious musicians, they're artists, and they're worthy. They're, dare I say, like legendary Austin staples of our music scene that are perfectly happy to kind of do that, and they're not even messing with the rest of the game, right? So my interest these days is in finding out, putting a spotlight on those people, number one, celebrating how incredibly talented they are, and letting the world know in new ways, and for us to stay in this game long enough to try different things to elevate those people, and not only to give them a reason to make a record, like to give a band the opportunity to make something like this that has the ability to possibly change the time frame of what they're doing, and be a classic record. Or, you know, when you make an album, it automatically means it's a forever thing. It's not about a gig anymore. It's about, this thing is in the annals of rock music history now, and if it's good enough and it hits enough people, it can be an Abbey Road or whatever. That's still possible, right? That's still happening today in music. So to put things into that continuum is something I think that we can do, and we can do it for these artists who are every bit as talented as anyone who's made a classic record, but they're just not given those opportunities, and they're not putting themselves into that continuum. I think we can do things in new, creative, and forward-thinking ways to keep trying to do that for people, and I feel like that's part of our service that we can provide the music industry or the scene here, and to have like the perspective that we have of being in the Austin music scene for so long. We grew up here, you know, like my dad used to run Antone's Records, and we've worked with people who've been part of the fabric of this town since the 60s, and we grew up going to UT and playing on 6th Street, and we're still here, and we're still trying things, and as long as I've been an adult, the music industry has been fucked and broken and totally not working for people. So that hasn't really changed. We're just happy to be here taking swings at it, and in a position to try things and continue to, you know, throw spaghetti at the wall. Because you've talked about those people and your dad, is there any insight that you guys gained from any of those people that you could share with people here? And then also, Derek, if you want to add to any obstacles you faced in your journey. But yeah. I mean, the old guard of Austin music is like, they all ended up at AA together, and then they ended up at Saxon Pub playing music, and now they're playing on, you know, they're still around, but they're like the legends. They're in the Hall of Fame, and they have a lot of them, like, I don't know, Jimmy Vaughn and people like that are still doing it, and they have a different kind of reverence, but they didn't bother to really subscribe to the changing scene, to the changing technology of the time. Austin is kind of a dinosaur in that way. I don't know if all I can say is that I've seen that happen. The only person to really kind of break out of that is probably Gary Clark, because he kind of comes from that Antone's world of playing with the blues masters, and he sort of carved his own path, and he got big in the touring and record industry, and kind of came back and has paid homage by kind of continuing to kind of shine a light on Antone's and blues music and bring up younger people. Like, other than that, a lot of those people are just holding down what Austin used to be, which is cool. I think that there's room for people like us to not let people forget about the old Austin guard, but to celebrate it and also try new things with it, and continue to bring people along and try new things with old technologies. And, you know, it's like a continuing to mash it up and try new things.
Yeah, as far as challenges, I think it's become basically where music is a prerequisite in a way. You need to be able to make good music, but you kind of have to add one other thing, whether it's like you're saying getting good at that, you know, something on social media, or, you know, try to build a fan base that's like rabid about your music or something, or build community like what we're doing, connect with people, go out, hang out at people's shows and stuff like that. You kind of have to do that now. If you just sit at home and make a really, really dope track and you don't do anything, that's probably, your friends will listen to it. You know what I mean? They'll be like, dude, that's good, yeah. But it's the challenge is like, you know, you can't just be a musician anymore. I think you could 20 years ago, maybe. That's one of the things that's changed, not just in Austin, but everywhere. So you gotta first you gotta be good at music, and then get good at one of those other things too.
Yeah. I feel like we're always, though, like, learning and growing as artists, right? Like, naturally. And what's so interesting about old Austin, it's like they just really built up their direct communities, and then they sold directly to the communities, or they were on the streets with CDs. I mean, back then we
still making money, too.
We had street teams on rollerblades. Do you guys remember those street teams? People would be like rollerblading around town, like, I'll hang up 10 posters, I'll do this, like.
Animated was like, I'm all over that.
I feel like we're all kind of leaning into that more.
Just like we used to hire that guy to put up our flyers.
Yes, was that Motorblade?
Motorblade.
Motorblade. He's still around, by the way. He's
still putting up flyers?
I think he's doing posters, because he emailed me like recently. He's like, I'm still making he should be on this panel. I really would reach out to him. But yeah, I feel like when we look at old Austin, it's so much about just like the reason they're still like iconic is because they just built this community that loved them, you know, and that lifted them up. And we have that here, right?
A lot of those people, like the Gary Clarks, I guess, and so some of the really OG people, they also built it when this was a town. You know what I mean? It was a town 20 years ago. If you were here, it did not feel like a big city at all. It does now. You know, it's still not big like Dallas or something, but it feels like a big city now, and you have to kind of attack it more like you're in a big city. But it was definitely different back then. I mean, I felt like it was more of a small town environment, and it was a lot easier to get through to all of Austin for them to know who you are, rather than just kind of blending in with, you know, a whole lot of stuff that's going on right now, even stuff that's not music, you know.
Yeah. So I want to change gears a little bit, because we have this right here, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what this is. It's a really interesting part of Purple Bee, so why don't you guys tell us more about the other hustle that y'all are working on at Purple Bee and what you with Greek Creative. And by the way, this is a great example of like creating upon creating. It's like you guys are just always looking for ways to create and thrive, and it's super inspiring. So
I think this is sort of like a representation of our creativity and us saying that we can create our own universe, and inside of our universe there's our own language and our own inside jokes, and sometimes these inside jokes go to ESPN, and then you find someone who will make them in China and you sell them on the internet, and then maybe this thing represents our ticket out of here. You know what I mean? Like this music thing is hard to make a living at. This donkey thing might make some money. So yeah, we found one of these things in the trash, and we were having a concert camp out, and we pulled it out of the trash and we're like throwing it while we drank beer and played music, and some people kept throwing it, and then at the next party we were throwing it again, and someone was like, oh, these are the rules, there's actually rules, let's play each other. And it became this little sport that we do at our concerts. And then since our sister company L2 does a lot of sports video, a lot of like college basketball and all sorts of other sports, they had ESPN contacts, and we're like, if we put together this thing and kind of sell it as a sport and take it to the ESPN guys, maybe they will put us on the Ocho, which is their weird sports network. And so we made a pilot at Purple Bee. We made it in the same place where we make all our concerts. We did a little pilot kind of sportscast thing with the desk and the announcers and the whole thing.
Uniforms, everything.
Uniforms. It's amazing.
There were people betting on it at the first thing. And we gave it to ESPN, and we're like, this is a pilot. This is what we think it could be. And they're like,
sold. They put it on ESPN immediately, and they've aired it like 60 times in the past year. And every time it aired, shortly after that, we met a guy down at the bar at Beachside Billy's, which is the neighborhood where Purple Bee is. And he's like, I'm an inventor, and I've got contacts in China, and I'll make this thing. I'll get over here in a couple months. And we're like, okay, man. And then so by the time the thing was on ESPN, we had the little commercial to sell it, and people started buying them, and now ESPN picked up another episode of it this year. So they invite us to their Ocho weekend in Orlando in August, and we're going to be out there. We're going to do like a live version of it on a huge stage, and it's taken off.
I'll promote it since y'all can. Y'all can buy this too. You can buy a donk kit.
Mm-hmm. Donk
toss kit.
Oh yeah, it's called Donk Toss.
It's called
Donk Toss.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's something we took it to ACL Fest, and they let us go backstage and let the artists play it at ACL. We have Teddy Swims and all these other artists playing donk, and so it's sort of like a rock and roll festival cornhole type, tailgate game. We think it goes well with rock and roll, and why not? Why the hell not?
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's funny and amazing, but it really is a prime example of like what creativity can do, and that like as creatives, like the world is at our fingertips. And it's just, what advice would you guys give like emerging artists? Because I feel like you guys have just gone and just taken creativity and just moved forward with it and done so much and are doing so much. What would you guys all give emerging artists? Maybe one piece of advice.
I think, this signifies like our dumbest, most playful idea in the context of hosting our friends in our scene and our campouts and making these fun games as a way to sort of build our own world. So it represents like no idea is too dumb or too playful, and I think all artists could take that advice, because really that's what we're doing. We're playing, we're getting in touch with our creative side and our playful side, and we're being free creatively. We're giving our friends and our other people in the community permission to do the same. We're like, that is the sort of environment that just sort of spins around and sort of amplifies itself when you have people that come together and they all feel free to be creative, and there's this sort of yes and culture. It just builds upon itself in so many unexpected ways, and so that's just an example of that, I think.
I love that example, man. Yeah, that's just to piggyback off that real quick before I go into my stuff. I do love the idea of just doing something, be creative, like take a gamble and do something different. There's so much shit now that sounds the same, and I think even at the beginning of our project, I don't even know if the music was really that good yet. It was just so different, you know what I mean? So that's like a super important thing, especially to younger generations and stuff too. And the same thing has happened to us too. We've made songs. I think every artist in here has done it. Made a song for like fun as a joke, and then that's like your favorite. Everybody loves that one more than the song that you spent like 10 years on. So yeah, I'd say just don't like be fearless and just make what you like and put it out there. There will be people that like it.
I think there's it's true. To me, it's like a signal to noise thing. Nowadays, there's so much noise, and it all looks and sounds the same. And all you have to do is do something that doesn't look or sound the same, and you stick out as above the noise. It may not be good, but it's like going to capture attention at least. And so that's number one priority. So it's marketing. If you can just do something weirder than everyone else,
and then just keep doing it, you'll get good at it.
Yeah. And so I would say all the stuff we're doing that's just different and weird and fun, it's mostly as a marketing angle to say that we're not going to just do it like everyone else. Why would we? We'd rather stick out, even if it's not that great. At least it'll be weird enough for you to stop and look at it for a little bit longer. So that would be my advice. And I also like weird shit. And I also grew up, we both grew up, when we were in our early 20s, we followed this band called Fish around. And the thing that I take away from that, other than them creating their own world with their own language and inside jokes for their legions of fans to all have as their secret language, every show had some surprise element in the set list that no one saw coming, and they would leave that show and they'd go on the internet and they'd say, can you believe Fish did this? So they brought out this person, they played this weird song, or they, whatever. So many weird things, but almost every show had something like that. Fast forward to this day and age, Taylor Swift's tour basically ripped that off, where she went to every world tour, stadium tour. Every show had like a couple of songs that she never plays in them, and everyone's like, that's so innovative and that's so groundbreaking. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, she was paying attention to the Grateful Dead and Fish and people like that. And
I was going to say, don't be scared to rip somebody off if it's working. But, I mean, don't steal their music. But
look to the past.
We are business people. If you're an independent artist, and like if you have a coffee shop and you see a coffee shop do something cool, and you probably want to do that or something. So you do have to market. You do have to approach it like a business.
Right, but it's not necessarily ripping off. The idea is come up with something unexpected. And this is the whole nature of a viral piece of content, is that it's unexpected, it surprises you, and that's why it sticks out above other things, and that's why people want to share it. It's novel, it's different, it's weird.
It's a free commercial.
Mm-hmm. So that idea is infinite. Anyone can come up with their version of that in their own language, and that would be my advice, to play in that world and don't be predictable.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting? Because I've had these conversations so many times with so many different artists, and like we're all like trying to learn this like marketing and social media world. But I hear you guys talking, and it's just like we are like those creative, like the autonomy of us, like that is what they're marketing, like the content. We are. So what I'm saying is, like, I think you all are just saying lean into yourselves, because we are the weird artists. Like, what we create is already there. We just have to lean more into ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we lean more into ourselves, we lean more into our community, because ultimately content marketing, they've just taken advantage and extracted from us, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're trying to figure out their game, but really we just lean more into who we are and continue creating. And I feel like you guys have done such an incredible, inspiring job doing that. Is there anything else you want to share? Because I do want to open it up to everybody to ask you questions, because I could keep going, but I think it'll be more exciting with all of you.
I think that one thing I would point out is that what we're sort of now, live streaming is still a thing we do, and it's something we're focused on, but we're starting to realize that what artists need these days is video content, and whether it's live or not live, they need a lot of it. And all this stuff we're just talking about what to make, what is your video content, what to do. The weirder, the more unexpected, the better, and the more you, the better. And so, like, we're trying to figure out ways to at scale create video for artists. So in a way, we're already doing it. Like, you come to you put a show on at Purple Bee, we make a record that night. We have a live audience in the room that night helping it, bringing the live energy. We have these monkey wrenches that we throw into the works along the show that make unexpected things happen and sort of bring out the best in you, hopefully, as an artist. And the vibe is right to perform at your best. And then when you leave there, you have 2 or 3 hours of video and audio content that's produced really well, that probably has 10 to 20 to 30 unique pieces of short form content that you can use throughout the next year or two, whether it's to sell your album or your single, or to get more gigs, or to just put out something that may go viral because it's weird and unexpected. Like, we're kind of offering people this really efficient way to do that.
Yeah, most of the stuff we put on Dub Eckies is the weird stuff at Purple Bee. Yeah, like the beatbox battle and the didgeridoo, and when Moses did opera. You remember that? That was crazy. But yeah, that stuff's super valuable, man. It's even more valuable to us as artists than like video of our tracks, because most of us have that.
So leaning into experiences, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just weird shit and, different stuff. Yeah. I think every creative artist, probably whatever you're working on, you got something in your head that's like, maybe I'll do that. And no, it's like too weird or something. Or no, that's going to, just try that thing. See if it works. Maybe it won't work. Try another thing too.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Also the fails, the mistakes, the things that you tried something or you were egged on by our wheel of jam to try something and it went awry, and that stuff can be super terrifying for an artist, but it actually ends up being the most humanizing. The sort of it can be interesting to see that content later. You can have another perspective on it a month later yourself, and laugh about it. And
some of the more charming.
You would never be able to get there yourself without someone sort of pushing you over the edge in those ways. So that's kind of one of the things that we've tried to lean into, because we know the artist is going to appreciate it. They may not appreciate it in the moment, but later they're going to appreciate that we did. So it's sort of a cool collaboration we're able to like be a part of, and even if they're surprised and aghast that we would put them in that position live, like it's worth it usually.
Yeah. Mistakes are crazy though. I remember performing live, getting off stage being like, oh my God, I fucked up so bad. That performance was not good. And then it's really all about perception of your audience and your community, because people would come up and be like, oh, it was so great. And then you're like, whoa, well, maybe it's first of all okay to make mistakes, but also everybody perceives art differently. Mm-hmm. So like even leaning into that and allowing yourself to let go is such a great experience, right?
It brings back the humanity of it all, that like we can do that and we can laugh it off, we can share that moment. The audience becomes a part of that thing that has never happened before and probably won't happen again. It's this shared moment of magic, even if it was a gaffe or a fuck up or something breaking. There's something magical about that, and the more fake this world gets, the more those things become valuable.
Absolutely. All right, well, unless you guys want to share anything else, I think we'll open up for questions. Is that okay? Okay, great.
Hey, what's going on? My name's Donovan. I just interviewed this guy last night, or actually posted today, sir, on my Finding Balance in EDM podcast. I love weird shit as well, and just being consistent and stuff, and talking to everybody about their weird shit. But hey, man, I've asked this question to other people who have started, something really cool. Why the color purple?
I mean, purple is the highest vibration you can get. It's not even a color, it's just a vibration. It's like, that's why. It's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Did you make that up, or is that real?
That's real shit right there. Oh, man. Thank you.
No, it's a great question. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a good answer. High vibration.
So my friend here, Anna Madewell, has a few events coming up, and we're making content for it. We'd like to know how to play the donkey game, so we can.
I think Dustin, he's a
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Oh my God, yeah. We should get that dog there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Stand about 5 feet away from it.
Okay.
And you want to flip it at least one time. You want to land on its feet is 2 points. On its snout is 3 points.
All right.
If it hits the center spot, you double it.
All right, let me see.
If it lands upside down, that's called an immaculate donk. You win.
There's one other.
Give it a try, Zach.
There's another weird caveat that we like to throw in when we're explaining the game, is that the donkey is a friend. You must have a good relationship with the donk. And grabbing the donk by the tail or ears is rude to the donkey. So that's the only other rules. You must not throw it by the tail or ears.
You gotta respect the donk.
Respect the donk. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad. It's a very highbrow game here.
Oh, that's my mic.
That's yours, yeah.
We'll work on lending you guys a kit if you want to have it at an event. Yeah.
That would be sick.
When it comes to creating like video content and the like, you talk about, being weird and unorthodox. How do you convert that unorthodoxy from first like solid views to people who might get out of the house to see you perform? Where does that come into? Because lots of people love the content, but that doesn't translate into them loving you as a content creator.
I think about it from the standpoint of a live musician and a live show. These are universal things. This isn't, the internet did not bring this about. And maybe not everyone can explain it this way, but I think I pinpointed why live music is incredible. And when you go to see a concert, the moments that really hit you and that you leave with are the unexpected moments that may or may not be planned by the artist or by anyone. Those end up being the communal things that kind of draw everyone in, and people leave with those as memories. And that, to me, is something that we've tried to translate into content, but to remain true to that idea. As if you're an artist that is performing and you have the humility to laugh at yourself, or to something goes wrong, and instead of collapsing and crumbling under the pressure of it, you go with it. You make lemonade out of these lemons, and you figure it out in front of everyone, and you let your humanity come through. That brings people in, and they become part of your story, and they become bigger fans of you. And I think that translates over the internet, in content. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and you're asking that you have some traction online, but you're trying to get people out live, right? I used to just ask people, literally, like when people I don't even know, if they're like engaging on the content a lot, I'll just send them a DM and be like, hey, what's up? Come to the show on Friday, And people do that. It's similar to what you're talking about, just like making it more human, just connecting with people.
Yeah, I think some of the long game, if you're thinking about what kind of content you should post, having some pillars of content that all point back to your sort of mission and your ethos and who you are, so that way when something does pop off and blow up, it's pointing back at who you really are, rather than being a one-off thing or whatever. And I think the algorithm these days sort of needs something to categorize you as, so it helps in that way also, just by being consistent with the types of things you're posting. So I think it probably is, in that way, it's like a long game of just strategizing who you are and how that translates to content online. And hopefully one day something blows up and it points to you in a more authentic way.
Do you guys know the band Jacuzzi? Have you guys seen that band yet? No? The other part of this too is first of all, they've created a whole fashion line around their band. And it's just wild. It's like characters, kind of similar to the Flaming Lips, I feel like so much of what y'all are talking about too is just creating a world around yourself. Yeah. But Jacuzzi they have these wild costumes, and then they do these wild performances. They brought this office chair up, and the singer's spinning in the office chair, and I don't know, just playing behind, guitar. I don't know. You also just create a spectacle around yourself as an artist.
You get them on Purple Bee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it, actually.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you working on?
A Jacuzzi on Purple Bee, yeah.
Oh, you are? I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Well, you guys have to see. That's crazy.
Jacuzzi.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a jacuzzi.
Talk about content. Yeah.
Do we have any more questions for them? Anna?
Hello. So has there been a specific event that you've done, us talking about just going with the flow, quite literally good at improv, things happen all the time. is there something that's happened at one of your events that was super unexpected, but then it turned out being the best thing ever? Yeah.
A million. Like
one specific situation that you can first think of in your brain.
You've been looking at all these archives. Do you have anything? I mean, first of all, having Derek here is really exciting because Dub East did one of our favorite shows of the past year, and just in terms of like being a perfect band to play our stage, having artists who improvise, who freestyle, who jam, who are willing to sort of like take curveballs and do things they don't normally do, or pull stuff out of the hat, and like those always lead to great moments. You mentioned like Moses singing opera. It's a moment in the interview. Evan may have seen in his bio that he sang opera, and it's
we've been trying to get him to sing opera for like a year, and he was like, hell no. He wouldn't even do it in the studio. So we snuck it on there without him seeing. That way, like when it got picked, we were just like, you got to do it now, dude.
Yeah. The dude, he's a like world class MC, but it just so happens that he's like has a degree in singing opera, but he tries to keep these worlds completely separate. And we're like, nah, dude.
He killed it with that opera. We like made a hip hop track.
We put it on the wheel of jam, and of course, the weirdest thing he put on these wheels, it lands on them almost without fail. So things like that happen all the time. We had Big Wise brass band played one time, and we played an entire song with kitchen utensils, and we went into the kitchen, we got the bucket of spatulas and shit, and we made the whole band play a whole song with just spatulas and tongs. It was great.
They're another great one for Purple Bee. Yeah, perfect fit.
So cool.
Do we have any
Thanks, Dustin.
questions?
I got a question. So my question is, what I've noticed about musicians in Austin is there are a lot of working musicians, and you talked about you were in the tech career. How have you balanced that with being a musician, and what?
Yeah, that's something that's individual, I think, to each person. It's really hard to balance it. I think even as artists, most of the time we feel like we're not balancing it correctly, but I mean, you're trying your best. I'm not working in tech as much these days, so it's a lot easier. I will say anybody out there that's like doing a full-time job and doing like what we do or what I do in music, I'm just usually blown away by that. That's two at least 40-hour-a-week jobs, essentially. But I would say, almost everybody, even some of the really big artists that you don't think would have a job, are working at like Dell or something too. So, especially this day and age, there's just not, you can be like pretty successful in music and still not be making that much money. That's kind of what I was saying, but you got to kind of find another thing to add to it too. I'd say don't be discouraged. It's hard, but everybody's kind of in that boat trying to balance it out right now.
I think that's also just a legacy of Austin, growing up here and being in the music scene for as long as we have. There's a percentage of people who just go, I'm a musician, that's what I'm going to do. And then there's the rest of us, which is everyone's got 2 or 3 hustles. They've got a day job. They come in and out of the workforce as needed, as they get hungry. We're all sort of like freelancers. So me and Dustin have been doing that our whole lives. And we finally got to a point where we're like, fuck it. Purple Bee is going to be our day job and our night job, and we're going to make it work. We're going to just figure it out. And when we get hungry as a company, we go and we do production work for other people, and it's the same thing. We might as well have day jobs, sort of, but it's like it's the same dance we're doing, and it's just the way it is, just the way of life.
One other thing too is it can help. I'll use Ellie as an example because I see her back there. She probably released more music in the last year than most people I know, and all of it's really good. She's like taking money that she's making and spending it at music studios and like producers, and so I've got friends that are like haven't released anything, and they don't have a job, but they're like, I can't get this done, I can't blah 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 blah. It's like, well, sometimes having a job can actually like progress your music career if you're investing your money into yourself and your music.
Can I have a quick follow-up question? Oh yeah. One more question. I don't even know if I need the mic, but to that point, what, maybe for all of you, but what advice would you give to someone who's scared to take that leap, to lean into their creativity if they know they have some?
Oh, man. I just kind of what I was saying earlier, just be fearless, just do it. You know, it's like, I don't know how, like on an individual level you would do that, but for each person, but find a way, or, you know, make yourself start small and go into it. You'll figure out whether you love it or not. You know, if you're thinking about going into the arts, you know, professionally, there's going to be a moment where you're like, I either like this or I fucking hate this. You know what I mean? So like you can just give it a shot, and then you'll know whether it's something that you want to do, because it does take so much work and you're not making a whole lot of money. So you do have to love it, and you really do got to enjoy the actual everything that you're doing, the actual work. You have to enjoy it.
I'll say that I think the thread throughout this conversation is like to shirk the expectations, the rules, that what you think the way that it is to make it as an artist is not the way anymore. How it was is not how it is. All of the expectations of what you have to do to be a real artist and put out an album and all that stuff is just bullshit at this point. It's like the rules are completely arbitrary, and whatever it takes for you to feel inspired and like tapped into your creative fire, do that. And if you only put out one thing a year or one thing every 10 years, but it's inspired, and that's going to make more of an impact than if you just grind and you do what's expected and you're sort of burn out and all that stuff. So find your fire and do just a little and see where that goes.
And I think that leaning into humanity and being honest and saying something that is vulnerable with your art in whatever way you can is the way forward, because to come back to the human thing, that's what makes us human. And to do that is hard. Just to share something personal on the internet is hard. Put it in a song, and it's probably even harder, you know? I don't know, maybe it's easier for some people, but I think it's most people I see do that, it comes at a cost. It's hard to do, and to put it out there and not get the response they wanted is devastating. So it's a hard thing to do, but you have to do it, and that's the only art that's worth sticking around is art that's personal and has some humanity in it. So just do it, put it out there, be brave.
Yeah, I also think so much of what you all have done you found alternative new ways of sustainability, and I think the next 5 to 10 years is so much of us creating new ways of sustainability. Certainly with Prosper, you know, we're connecting artists with brands. We're looking to build a system around that, or more monetization around the release or direct connection. You guys are finding alternative ways for participation and activation, and also more monetization. I would say though, when you're if you're gonna jump into a full-time career, it's number one, educate yourself about how to protect yourself as an artist. You know, that is, I feel like, almost number one. Also, is Tyranny still here? Did Tyranny leave? Tyranny's like the king of licensing and syncing.
Yeah, he probably went to go write a new...
Yeah, he's probably like dumping like 5 tracks to a movie right now. But yeah, there's a lot of ways right now that you can make money and sustain yourself, but you really have to educate yourself on how to do it and the craft, and it takes time. And so, you know, if you need to work a job, that's okay. But if you're going to go full time into it, just make sure you know how to do it the right way. And there's so many resources. Actually, ATX Musicians next week on June 14th is going to have a whole class about syncing and licensing. Then they're doing another at St. Edward's. It's totally free. You just RSVP.
T-Double's on that panel.
T-Double's on that panel. Yeah, Tyranny's on that panel. They're doing another panel, I think, a month later on like merchandise. But yeah, I think so much about this is just learning though. Like, we're all learning and creating and finding new ways to continue to sustain humanity, right? So I just want to thank you guys so much for your time and for sharing everything that you do and your dunk toss. Yeah, please give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Lauren, for having us and making this forum for this type of stuff to happen. It's really cool.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And thank you, Devin and Courtney, that are here too. Really appreciate it. So we're gonna bring our next guest up, Kelsey from Babe Stock and Babe Fest. There is an open town hall at the end of this, so we're gonna do the interview with Kelsey, do the Q&A, and then if people want to get up and share anything about who they are, what they do, what they have going on, after this interview, we're going to open it up to the town hall. Hello. Hi. How are you doing?
I am so inspired after the last panel. That was super cool.
Yeah, they are incredible. By the way, Purple Bee's up in Volente Beach. I don't know if we said that. Did we? We didn't say that. Volente Beach is so awesome. The view there, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. So tell us who you are and what you do, because you do a lot of really amazing things.
Thank you. Hello, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kelsey Pinkston. Some of you might know me as DJ Hipster. I am a DJ, producer, but I also wear a lot of other hats. I teach people how to DJ. I also run something called Babe ATX, which stands for Badass Bitches Elevating. And the whole mission is just to get more gender diversity in Austin's DJ scene. And through Babe, there are all sorts of projects. So one of them is something called Babe Stock, which was America's first electronic music festival with all women and gender expansive artists.
Wait, what? You said America's first?
Yes.
What? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Can we give a round of applause for that? Dang.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, our first one was in 2024 at Cheer Up Charlie's, and we did it again last year, 2025. This year, it got a little more complicated. It was a multi-day festival, which is a lot of work, and totally like DIY, like it was just a team of women and non-binary folks just like making this happen like all year long. Anna Madewell was on the team in 2025 here, so she knows all about that. But so this year we're just doing a one-day event, and we're doing it rave style. Woo! Yes. So June 19th. Juneteenth, it's going to be at 4211 Todd Lane at a place called Vector Collective, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., all femme and them DJs. It also happens to be my birthday, which is cool. Happy birthday! So if you want to get me anything for my birthday, I just want to rave with y'all, that's it.
Wow.
Oh wait, there's more. Wait, sorry.
Oh, okay, there's more. Da, da, da.
I also started a record label called Babe Records. Same type of mission. We want to platform femme and them producers, and we have 2 compilation albums out at the moment. Babe Records Volume 1, Babe Records Volume 2. Most of these artists are from Austin, but yeah, completely produced, distributed, released, marketed by a team of women and non-binary folks, which is pretty epic.
Damn. Wow. Amazing. Yeah, no, please. Another round of applause. Amazing. So how did your journey start, Kelsey? How did you get into music and the creative scene? What inspired you?
I love telling this story, and if anyone here has seen me speak before, you may have heard this, but I owe my DJ journey to Vietnam. I actually lived in Hanoi for 2 years, like during the pandemic. And I mean, I've always loved music, and I've always, I did dance when I was growing up. I was heavy into dance and choir and a little bit of theater and stuff. But it wasn't until I was living in Hanoi, I was teaching English there, and I saw this ad on Facebook that was like, DJ lessons for women. And I was like, I might be like kind of good at that. And I legitimately just never even thought of it as an option until I saw this ad specifically for women, and then I was like, okay, I will try this. And so it was with this group called For the Girls. And so I took the lesson, and I just learned how to DJ with this community of other women, and I fell in love immediately, and it just became my passion. So that's how I got into this. And this was in 2020, so It's been 6 years now.
Wow. That's amazing. And so you also are a teacher.
Yes.
So how did you go from performing, but also then like, oh, well, I really want to also teach this now?
Yeah, so fast forward to 2021, I moved here to Austin, and I got a teaching job, and I was just looking for a similar type of community here, and I was like, where are all the girly DJs at? And it was like crickets, and I was like, oh no. So I was like, all right, I gotta teach the girlies how to DJ out here. And then I started Babe. And yeah, it really started with me teaching, but then it grew into throwing events, promoting events with Fem and Them DJs at them, and then yeah, it snowballed into Babe Stock and Babe Records and all these other things. Well, I don't know if I answered your question, actually.
Yeah, no, like I wanted to know why you got into teaching, and that's a great reason, for sure. Why is creating like exclusive or inclusive and supportive communities so important?
So, if you're someone who has an identity that is underrepresented in any space, it just becomes so much more inspiring and fun and just overall better if you see other people who share the same struggles or are experiencing similar kinds of things, and then you just don't feel so alone. Really is what it boils down to, and it can be very scary going into a space where you don't see yourself reflected in that space.
Yeah. When you reached out to Prosper last year when you were doing Babe Fest, I know there were some statistics. Do you remember those? I'm trying to remember. Do you remember
about lineups?
Yeah, about lineups, about female lineups. Yeah.
Yes. So the crazy thing is that this statistic has, well, depending on the festival, it either hasn't changed or it has actually gotten worse and gone backwards. But yeah, roughly lineups tend to be like 80% male, but they can go as high as 100%, of course.
Yeah, and these are like major festivals. Statistics are being pulled from.
Yes.
So how do you think communities can support women more, and whether it's creative communities or communities beyond creativity?
Yeah. So Wait, how much time do we have? No. There are a couple.
We have like 25 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool. There are a few different pillars, I guess. Probably the most important one is safety. And safety goes beyond like, oh, we don't want someone physically hurt somewhere. Safety also needs to be emotional, and women feeling comfortable, queer people feeling comfortable, trans people feeling comfortable, and just like really believing people, especially marginalized people, when they speak, when they share things that, might be unbelievable or might be uncomfortable or things that you might not want to hear. But they're being said for a reason. And I think one of the biggest struggles that women and queer folks go up against is like not being believed with certain things. So yeah, safety, super important, and just trying to, just like being intentional with that, and asking women around you, asking trans people around you, like, do you feel safe in this environment, first of all? And if not, what would make you feel safer? What would make you feel more comfortable? What kind of systems can we put in place for that? So that's one part. The other part is money. Which sounds so simple, but I mean, historically speaking, like, and when I say this, I'm not saying that like every single man in this room has a bunch of money. I'm just saying that like historically, men have had more access to financial things. Typically, men are in charge of giving out money to people. Typically, I mean, this is pretty subjective, but in my experience, I get the sense that like men are comfortable giving money to each other, but when there's a woman or a non-binary person or whoever, it's like there's a little hesitancy. There's a little like, prove it, like, why do you deserve this money? What are you gonna do with it? Which, if you're asking those questions, which are fair, just make sure that you're asking that to your guy friends as well. Because, yeah, definitely, if you're a woman and you're coming to someone with an idea, you're like, I want to do this, I just need the funding, then probably she has been thinking about this a lot and is super prepared. And, yeah, just something to consider.
Hey, it happens in the tech world too.
Yeah.
There's women receive funding at a way lower rate.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, booking us. Book us to play.
Yeah. So being an artist, like a performing artist, what are some obstacles you faced, and then also what are you hopeful for? Because you're kind of on both sides, right? You're performing, but you're also like an event coordinator. You're also a teacher. So what kind of like obstacles beyond, of course, what we're talking about, but and what hope do you have for the future and the community?
Yeah. I would say on a personal level, as you can see, I'm a very ambitious person, and whenever I see an obstacle, I'm like, all right, time to build something new, time to do it myself. All right, I can't succeed in this system, so I'm gonna just try and build something else over here, which is cool, and I think people like that about me. And at the same time, it's really exhausting. And I definitely have been dealing with burnout pretty heavy this past year, for sure. And so, yeah, I would say one of the big obstacles for me on a personal level has been balancing, like somebody brought up earlier, like my goals and my dreams and my art, and also like practical things like paying bills and making sure that I'm taken care of, but also taking care of other people, because that's something I'm passionate about, and I want to bring other people up with me, because I know that that's also going to benefit me if there's a community that has abundance and is thriving and succeeding. It really just helps everyone. And so, yeah, I would say that's been a really big challenge for me, is like balancing taking care of myself, taking care of others, and then also trying to build a lot.
Yeah. And then what are the positives? Because you have built a lot. You have built sustainability. You have supported so many women. You've taught so many creators. What are you seeing that's working? And what would you tell an emerging artist?
Since I started Babe, I've definitely noticed, in general, more awareness around gender in Austin's music scene, which is really, really cool. I've taught hundreds of women, non-binary folks, how to DJ, and I'm seeing them playing out at these gigs. I'm seeing them throwing their own shows, and just seeing more. I'm seeing the fruits of my labor and seeing more gender diversity in this scene, which is super, super fulfilling and amazing. And I'm seeing these babes just kicking ass and seeing people support each other. We have, in the Babe community, we have this Discord server, and people are sharing gigs in there. They're sharing their mixes and their songs that they're producing, and just really supporting each other, which is super cool.
How important is community to you, and you think for artists?
I mean, community is everything. Community is everything, especially if you're someone who does not have a bunch of money. Then community is where you can share resources with each other. You can help each other out. And also, community is just I just really enjoy being in a community with other people. Yeah.
I guess, is there anything else you'd like to share about like your journey as an artist? Because I want to open it up to more questions from the audience.
I don't think so.
What's the most exciting thing that's happened to you recently as an artist?
Oh, okay. The most exciting thing.
Didn't you just win something? I feel like I saw, or like.
Oh, okay. I know.
Yes.
So this year I was nominated for Best DJ through the Austin Chronicle, Austin Music Awards. Yeah. I didn't win, but the fact that I was nominated is still really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so inspired by the communities you've built and how you are such a warrior for supporting women and music and creation. I want to thank you for being a guest. I want to open it up to questions from everybody in the audience, though, so we have time.
Thank you.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Get you next. So, what's up, Kelsey?
Hey.
When you were in Vietnam, did you get stuck over there because of the pandemic, or were you already living over there?
So I was living over there, and then the pandemic happened, and then I was stuck there.
Oh, that's cool. So when you started learning how to DJ, at what point were you confident enough to be doing shows out in Vietnam and stuff?
Yeah, so through the classes that I took, our graduation was a show out in public. So yeah, I started off like immediately DJing in public, which was terrifying and amazing. So yeah, and to be honest, like Hanoi is kind of, or at least when I was there, I don't know if things have changed now, but it was kind of like a DJ playground. It was so easy to DJ at venues. Like you could just go up to a bar and be like, hey, I want to play here. And they'd be like, cool, we'll have you on this day. And you're like, sick. And then I came here to Austin and I tried reaching out to venues and nobody was responding to me. And I was like, okay, I guess things work differently here.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, wow. It's been amazing to hear about all of that you've done and all the hard work that you put into it. And I know there's only 24 hours in a day, but I'm curious. I'm just learning about all these things about you. I just wanted to inquire further about, you mentioned diversity and inclusion. I'm curious about some of what inclusion looks like in terms of Black and brown women, and also inclusion in terms of neurodivergent women. So just if you can talk more about that, I'd really be interested in hearing that.
Those are great questions, and I like that you're thinking about those questions, and I think everyone could benefit from asking those questions on a regular basis. And yeah, I mean, we're all experiencing different systems of privilege and oppression at the same time. And so Black and brown people experience oppression that white people don't. And as a white person, that's very important for me to be considering that and thinking about that. And all I will say is with Babe events and with Babe Stock and Babe Records, I definitely am thinking about those things and about including neurodivergent women and non-binary folks as well. Although I will say that is one area that I could improve in. So if anybody has any advice for that, I am all ears, or any things that I should be thinking about. But at least with Babe Stock, for example, we also, so not only did we book all Flinta folks, this is an acronym that I like to use, which comes from Germany. It stands for Femme, Lesbian, Intersex, Non-Binary, Trans, Agender, Plus. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna throw that at you, but not only did we book 100% Flinta folks, but we also had it on our as a requirement to have at least 50% or more people of color on the lineup as well.
Woo!
Yeah. And with this Juneteenth rave event that's coming up, the majority of our artists are Black as well, and that was super intentional. And yeah, I just try to keep all of these things in mind, long story short, and always open to ways to improve that. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, great question. Also, we didn't talk about the headphones at Purple Bee. I don't know, was that a neurodivergent decision? Or
Maybe a little bit. It stems from having a intentional listening environment where people aren't talking, because if you have headphones on, you're not talking to next to you. And so inside the live room, we have the headphones, and if you want to talk, there's an outside patio that looks into the room and also has speakers, so people can go out there by the bar and chat it up as they would somewhere else.
Who's been to a silent disco here? Yeah, they're awesome, right? So amazing.
More questions? Yeah.
Yes, how y'all doing?
Wait, we have one
it's
over here.
Noah in the
and
back
then
over there.
another
How y'all
here.
doing? How you doing? Kelsey, as a DJ and a producer, how do you know this has nothing to do with about community or anything, but you as an artist, like how do you take time to whether you're hunting for music or what I hear you're doing is production more, so how do you divide your time and what you're doing, and as far as production goes, what are you doing in it?
Yes, thank you, Noah, for asking that. Yes, so production-wise, my goal is to release an EP this year. I do, like, creatively, I feel like I'm still kind of finding my sound, and I feel some pressure for sure to, like, have a nice packaged box for people. Like, this is what you can expect. Stream my EP or buy my EP or whatever, marketing brain. And at the same time, I'm like creating a lot of different sounding music. So, but I was actually talking to someone earlier about this, and he convinced me, like, just release it. So, so production-wise, that's my personal goal for this year. But yeah, I really do struggle, honestly, to divide my time between, because I don't have like a day job. I'm just surviving off of gigging, off of teaching people how to DJ, and then I also like work the merch booth at festivals sometimes. And so yeah, it's hard because I do feel like I need to carve out more space for creating music and producing, and at the same time it's like, okay, well, I need to be out and about networking, and
I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
You're a music scientist.
Yeah. I need to be out and about. I need to show face. I need to be making really good content so that I get all these eyeballs on my page, and then I get all these followers, and then people will book me. I struggle to balance it all, to be honest. But what I've been learning is you have to let some things go, and you just have to prioritize. You can't do it all.
Sure. Totally.
And it's hard.
Oh wait, so hard. Devin.
I think. Yeah,
okay, she's next. I don't think I need the mic. I did.
Yeah.
You're going first.
So I guess my first question is, when in the process of like founding Babe Stock and Babe Records did you think, and like it really hit you, like, oh, this is a thing that people like want and like will continue to want, and then when, like, do you see it as something as like a like one of one, Babe is just the Austin, Flinta organization, or do you see it as a template that can be modeled in like other cities, places where the scene for those types of folks are like very limited opportunity, very stereotyped to be only there because of their identity and not of the skills. And like lastly, where do you realistically see the shift going as far as the, if not acceptance, but like understanding of these like marginalized community like DJs as having the chops and being able to play with the best of them?
Okay, I'm going to try to remember all your questions. Okay, the first one, when did I realize that people were into this? So with Babe Stock specifically, I literally just had an idea, which was inspired by these lineups that were mostly men, and I was like, why is this happening? And then I was like, you know what, let me just try to do this new thing on my own. And then once I put the idea out there, then there were other women and non-binary folks who wanted to help me make it happen. And then I was like, oh, okay, wow, like people actually want to see this happen. And then, yeah, I just kept getting support from all kinds of people. And I just went with that and just wanted to see how far this thing could go. And then your second question, could this be replicated in other cities? Absolutely. Or could there be other types of groups like this in Austin even? Absolutely. Like I said, I've been doing a lot. I'm like tired and burnt out. Like I want, like, please take something off my plate. And I am happy to support. And, you know, there have been people actually in Dallas and Houston as well, I think, who are like, oh, like let's start a Babe in Dallas. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. I'm here to support you. But it really takes someone or multiple people, ideally, to step up and take that on. But if Babe is a template for that, I'm very, very happy about that. Okay, and then your last question, where do I see this going? That's a good question. Ultimately, I would like to continue an annual event in the Babe Stock vein. So in the past it's been festivals, this year it's a rave. We'll see how it goes, but ultimately, yeah, just like some kind of annual event would be great. And then on a personal level, I do want to get more into producing and releasing my own music and teaching music production, specifically to the girlies, because that is an even more bleak statistic. There are less femme in them DJs, but like production wise, I think the latest statistic was like 6% or something are femme in them producers. So that's kind of the next frontier for me, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So commending everything that you've built with Babe ATX and Babe Stock and acknowledging the burnout. You mentioned when you were in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, that you could get on any stage. And that was not the case when you came to Austin, the capital of Texas. So for Kelsey, what is your dream institutional stage in Austin that you would like to get on?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh my gosh. I mean, there are a few iconic stages here. I mean, you know, Stubbs comes to mind, Moody. Yeah, Concourse, yes. And also there's some beef there. Uh-oh, I didn't know that. I mean, look, I don't have anything against Concourse. They have something against me, I think. But yeah, it would be sick to play at Concourse as well. Yeah.
We'll stick with Stubbs and Moody.
Yeah. The tunnels, I haven't played a tunnel rave yet, actually. So.
Babe Stock Tunnel Rave.
Oh, Babe Stock Tunnel Rave next year. Montopolis Bridge. Are people still raving there? Okay, I thought it got.
There's construction underneath.
Oh, I thought it got like the police.
I think they did.
Okay. Okay, yeah, maybe the police have forgotten by now.
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. I think.
Oh, hi.
I mean, you can go next.
Hey, Kelsey.
Hey.
I'm a white guy, and I think a lot of the people who book clubs in this town are probably white guys too. What advice would you have for people in booking positions who look like me and how could we further your mission, and what could we do if there's one thing you could tell all of us?
I love this question. So kind of like what I was saying earlier, where just keep in mind the identities of the people that you're booking. And I think for a lot of white men in these positions, it's not necessarily intentional, like to book all these other white men. I think it just happens to be, you know, like they're friends or friends of friends, and there's just like this network happening there. So really, I think it boils down to exploring outside of your network. So that could look like asking some of your friends, like, do you know any women DJs that you think would want to play this? Or do you know any black DJs that might want to play this? Or bands, or yeah, just like trying to expose yourself out of your network in whatever ways that you can, and just saving space for someone with a marginalized identity, or multiple people would be better, right? But just at least even having that. And I know some people get like upset about tokenization, which is totally understandable. And I think the difference here is that in a token setting, it's like, I don't care about this artist. I'm just trying to, you know, check a box, and probably they're going to be like the opener and like nobody cares, whatever. Versus if you're being intentional about like, I want to book more women, I want to book more people of color, and you're actually, you know, paying attention to their artistry as well, and you know, curating like, oh, this person would fit this vibe. That's like a totally different mindset.
Yeah.
I was struck by what you said about Vietnam, and because it's not something I'd not talked about so much. I left LA with a new age instrumental album on streaming and not many performances, and I went and moved to Tulum a few years ago, and there I became known as a pianist, and I would get gigs at small boutique hotels and restaurants, you know, playing new age background piano, and you know, being paid in pesos. And then when I came back to the States, no, not LA, not Austin, or anything like that, and I found it people are just a lot more closed to something different. I mean, your perceptions here, they wanted like the jazz trio, or they wanted like the you know, they wanted some form, whatever, more traditional piano, and I didn't want to run necessarily out of the States, you know, and go back to where I had been more recognized, but you're the first person that I've heard that had somewhat similar. So anything more you can share about that?
Yeah, I mean, I am very pro living in another country. If anyone here has the opportunity to do that, take it. Because America is a very unique bubble that is unlike anywhere else in the world. And so I think the entertainment and music industry here reflects that. And, you know, maybe, I don't know if it's American culture or if there are some other factors going on here, but yeah, it just feels, it can feel sometimes like people want to know exactly what to expect. They want to know, like, oh, okay, this person is this. I can put them in this box, and I'm not going anywhere unless I'm sure that this event is exactly perfect for me and I know what to expect. Versus in some other places, I feel like people are more just like, oh, I'm going to go out and see what happens. And I don't know exactly what causes that, but I can relate to this international experience.
What did I catch there? Just let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I do have a more formal question, but before it, I don't know how to really put it into words, but just hearing you speak tonight, Kelsey, and talking about how you keep going, and people coming up with other ideas, like, you know, and even feeling a sense of burnout, and this being the year of burnout, and Babe Stop being 3 years old, yeah?
This is our third one, yeah.
Third year in a row. Okay, so then Anna Madewell over here with like 2 years, about to go to 3 years. I've seen this woman and her, like, sometimes, you know, I mean, very relatable burnout. And then I, with PH7, started this thing 3 years ago. And I'm just like, what is it at this 3-year marker that is feeling like the burnout, but you keep going? So my question is, how do you determine what to focus on?
Yeah, that is, I guess, first of all, being in touch with yourself and your feelings, because, I mean, maybe you can relate to, like, when I say, I don't know, I just got into this mindset of, like, just grind it out now, just put in the work now, just sacrifice everything, make this happen, and then it'll pay off later, and then I can relax later, right? And I'm learning now that that's not healthy. And so, yeah, I think first of all, just being in tune with yourself and your feelings and recognizing, like, this stresses me out hard.
Yo.
Or this makes me feel fulfilled. I find joy in this. And it's not going to be only joy. It's not going to be only joy and fulfillment. There's going to be some stressful things as well, and probably unenjoyable things. But ultimately, are these little sacrifices leading you to your joy and your fulfillment? Or are these things that you think you should be doing? Or, you know, things that the world says, like, you're not a successful musician unless you have 100,000 followers or whatever. So really, I think, yeah, just listening to yourself and following your joy and the things that lead you to that joy.
That's great. We have time for one more question, and then we're going to open it up for the town hall portion where everybody can share if you have a gig coming up, or you want to share your business, or if you just want to make a comment about society. It's an open town hall, so you're welcome to say anything.
Comment on society.
I love that. Yeah.
Just don't be hateful. Be respectful. That's
don't be hateful.
Yeah.
Yes, I love also what you were just talking about last, about that. That's exactly what I felt last year at the first year of the fest. It's planning this festival, this Empower Her Festival, is very much like, I'm going to do it, and then I'll relax later. And now I'm learning to enjoy more of the process. There's joy in the process and the people. So I'm curious, that leads me to my question of you transitioning from staying connected to your people before with festival coordination and event logistics and meeting up week to week. How have you stayed connected to your people and transitioned that into your artistry now that you're focused more on your own music?
Honestly, I haven't stayed that connected with my people. I mean, I haven't closed any doors or anything, but yeah, I had to step away from that for a second and, you know, go inward.
Yeah. It feels like a different focus too. Like you're attracting now new people, different people, because now a different goal, different focus. So, okay. Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sweet.
All really great questions. Let's give a round of applause to all of our guests tonight. So honored. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time and all your work and contribution to the community.
Thank you.
We're going to open it up for the town hall. We do have to be out of this room by 9 o'clock, so we will start cleaning up chairs around like 8:45 or so, but you guys are welcome to stick around. But yeah, whoever wants to pass around the mic for the town hall, if you want to share like what you're up to or who you are, we can open it up for the town hall. And then, yeah, thank you. We'll see you next month. These happen the second Wednesday of every month with 2 guests each one. So, yeah, Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'd love to make an announcement.
Okay, we have an announcement from Anna.
Okay. So.
Nice boots.
Thank you. Wherever you want to go. There's a flash mob rehearsal this Sunday, and y'all should come.
Flash mob rehearsal.
Yeah, so it's a flash mob I'm hosting for the ATX Music Video Film Festival, which is a festival performance happening on July 18th next month at the Cabana Club. So it's a red carpet music video film experience with live music nominee performances and the music video screenings on the LED screens. And in the middle of this, to bring the music to life, it's not really a surprise, and I'll tell y'all if y'all go, you know. But there's gonna be flash mobs happening. So the first rehearsal for that is gonna be this Sunday. So if you wanna be a dancer, you wanna be part of it, it's a pretty simple choreo. There's a hip hop song, and then there's an original I have with Donovan, and that's gonna be shuffle. So if you wanna be a dancer, then just come to me. Thank you.
Amazing. I'd like to say one thing, if you're not doing anything, July 4th, there's a EDM Prosperity and Hypnotic. They're both Austin-based. They're coming together. They're putting a 4-part barge party together, like four barges together, and it's going to be dubstep and house music. And Goshfather, if you know Goshfather, he's a amazing house disco tech DJ, and he's going to be headlining it. And then Serotonin and Lucas are also headlining it. So shout out EDM Prosperity. But July 4th, going to be, let's go. Okay.
Wait, what location?
It's going to be on Lake Travis. If you go to the EDM Prosperity Network page on Instagram, EDM Prosperity Network, you will find the event. It's going to be super cool. Honestly, never been to something like this that is 4 barges deep. Like, come on, baby. Free food and drink are a part of your ticket. Pretty cool.
Does anybody else want to
Yes.
share?
Hi, I'm Kay Cote. I'm the founder of Amplify EDM. We help artists to rise up in their music and find success. We are doing a studio tour that's going to be in Dripping Springs on July 14th. We invite any artists to come check this out. In this studio, the producer there has mixed for Madonna, for Green Day, for multiple artists.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
It is
absolutely
so
stunning studio. So if you want to come to that, go to amplifyedm.com and you can go, I think it's to our about page, and you can book a call with me and then get on the list. So I love to support artists, or just come find me, come say hi, and I'll get you on the list. All I need is an email. So give us a follow on Instagram at AmplifyEDM, and you can just DM me there as well. So come to the studio tour.
You want the mic?
Hi y'all. Sorry, I've talked a lot today. My name is Lance. I am a freelance electronic music journalist. I've done some stuff for guys like Durante, Simon Doty, and ever since moving to Austin, I've really kind of wanted to connect to some of the local artists and passion projects that are in the scene, and I haven't really known exactly how, so I figured now is probably the best time. It's been really hard over the last few years as a music journalist. It feels like people care more and more, but read less and less. And if any of y'all would like to reach out and say hey, could you write me something about this EP I'm working on, or something about the EP that's really important to me that I really want to get across, you can find me on Instagram at Stardust in Madness. Stardust in Madness. Yes, all one word.
Hello. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name's Zach. I'm a musician, a singer-songwriter, videographer. We have a show this Saturday at How Much. If anyone can come through, it'll be free. I definitely want to meet a lot of people in this room. Thank you guys, everyone, for putting this together. Miss Lauren, it was really an amazing event. And thank you for everyone that was speaking as well. So I just want to connect with people. Thank y'all.
Yeah. Anybody? Oh, there you go.
Hey y'all, my name is Ryan. Kind of on the same wave as the last two guys that talked. I'm a journalism major at the University of Arkansas, with more of a focus in music journalism. I want to tell artists' stories, where they come from, what their creative process looks like. I'm an intern with Dustin and Evan at Purple Bee this summer, helping out with their social media stuff. So if you have any artists that y'all know of that don't have any videos or documentaries made, I'd love to hear from y'all. Y'all can find me. I'm tagged in some of Purple Bee's most recent reels. You can find my account there. Send me a DM. I'd love to connect with some of y'all.
What's your account? What's your account?
It's Ryan Dean with a 3.
Okay. Anybody? Oh,
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Melanie. I go by Mel. I really am grateful for being here tonight. Very inspired by a lot of the things that were shared. A lot of the conversations or panels tonight talked about owning your art and reclaiming your domain and signal over noise. And I work in the Bitcoin space, and it's very important that I want to share with you guys, if you're ever interested in self-sovereignty and that signal over noise, I would love to teach you about it. I work for a company that hosts global Bitcoin conferences, and it's really powerful, the art that we bring under our roof amongst many other industries. So that's what I'd like to share. Thank you.
Does anybody else want to share? Oh, there.
I just want to say, first of all, I'm Zach, too. Hey! Yeah, I like yours, too! Anyway, I just want to say there is no shame in having a day job and also working on music on the side. Actually, my day job is how I pay a mentor to teach me music production, and on top of that, it also pays for all my instruments. All of the setups that I do for my laptop, my speakers, everything else I need, all the artwork that I make, because I'm not using AI to make artwork. I'll use it for concepts to be like, okay, here's what I want it to look like, then make it for real. But I'm not putting it on the actual releases. All right, mic drop. No, I'm just kidding.
Paul, do you want to share? Yeah. Putting you on the spot. But you are an incredible jazz musician, and you're playing at Jupiter, right?
Yes, I'm playing at Jupiter Supper Club every Friday, and Whistler's on the east side every Tuesday. I teach, I play with DJs, I play 5 different instruments, so if you're looking for a horn player for that, this is shameless self-promotion here.
Yeah!
But yes, being a musician is a job too. I just got in like a little discussion with that, so that's why I'm harping on that. It's a job. It is a real job. So anyways, this is awesome. My first time here, so kick ass, and I'm gonna pass this. I'm gonna get rid of this thing. Take it away.
Hey y'all, I'm Kirsten. I work for the city of Austin, but nothing in music, but I love dancing and I love Purple Bee and a lot of my friends. Artists should be taken care of. So if y'all don't know about HAM, the Health Alliance for Austin musicians, it's health insurance, get in on it. And then there's City of Austin grants from the Economic Development Department called Nexus, NEXAS. They come out annually, and you can get thousands of dollars for all things music. So make sure you take advantage of our city resources.
That's beautiful. And if I took nothing from tonight, wow, I'd really like to see some live music. So who's performing tonight? Where's the good jams tonight? Let me know. I'd like to go support some local artists tonight.
I'm going to Firehouse Lounge. There's a really cool. Kind Keith is playing. If anyone knows Kind Keith, he's in 100. I know he's moving. It's his going away residency at Firehouse Lounge. Firehouse Lounge, yeah. For anybody who parked in the Omni Garage, we do have validation for $8. Yep. So if you wanna. Yeah, okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. Sign up for our newsletter out there if you haven't already. We have these events every month. Thank you for being here. Oh, did you want?
yeah, if anyone wants to help us gather chairs, that would be super appreciated.
I had a moment the other day when I saw a